Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? Happy Sunday. Happy week 2 here on the Touchdown Talk with me, Chris, and I am joined by, as always, the amazing Mr. Pablo Martinez. Pablo, how are you, bud?
Good morning. Doing great over here. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to week 2 of the NFL football.
That's right, man. We are in week 2 already, week 2, and man, oh man, last week was quite a week 1. I feel like definitely saw a lot of rust around the entire league, and I'm talking about their actual for real NFL. We'll talk about fantasy too. I think a lot of rust all around. You know, it's always week 1. Like, you put all your starters in, and it really is like who's gonna play, and then you pick up a guy you think he's gonna be getting the start, and then all of a sudden his backup is the one in the whole game. So lots going on in week 1. A lot of shifting around that I don't think a lot of people expected. What were your thoughts on week 1 in the NFL?
It definitely was a typical week 1 to me. Players, the starters, the normal starters are normally not playing full games until week 1. They play maybe a quarter throughout the preseason, maybe a couple of minutes here and there, a drive or two. That's about it. And week 1 brought a lot of surprise. Yeah, we saw a lot of NFL players who we thought were going to be starters, not necessarily play the entire game, split more work, and other guys that we didn't necessarily have on our radar popped off, which is great. That's what football's all about. That's what week 1's all about. That's why week 1 waivers is maybe like the most important waiver pickup of the whole season. Those
Yeah,
Puka Nakuas, those Kyron Williams of 2023.
yeah,
Who are they this year? Let's see who we can decipher, who we can spot early on to pick up those league winning week 1 waiver pickups.
yeah, absolutely. And guys, as we're going along here, as if you're watching us live, feel free to comment, react, let us know whether you're in our leagues, the 2 leagues. League of Extraordinarily Mediocre People or the Dirt Invitational, let us know. But if you're just casually watching, we want to hear from you. Are you in fantasy? How did you do last week? How did you feel about week 1? And also maybe any of your fantasy insights or top secret or sleeper moves, whatever. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Drop it in. And also, I'm going to say this too, is that we do have a call-in number. So if you want to call in and you want to be live with us, and razz us, whatever, call in live. Call 862-243-2064. That's 862-243-2064. Give us a buzz and we'll throw you on. Keep it football focused.
We definitely want to hear from you if you want to call.
Yeah. Josh Parr already stepping in with sleeper pick Tommy Cutlets. You know what? You might see that today. You might see it today. You're not wrong. So, all right, my friend. Where do you want to go? You want to start off with going through our picks? Do you want to review what happened last week? How do you want to kick off today's show?
Let's take a quick browse at what the standings look like, and let's do one league at a time. I don't know if you want to kick off with LOEMP league or
sure. Yeah, let's start there. So let me get that up here, and all right. So here are the matchups, but let's go with the standings first. So here's the standings in the LOEMP League as they are right now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more too so you guys can see my screen a little bit better. I'll go in just a little bit more because I know when it's on StreamYard it gets a little small, but hopefully hopefully that's a good size for everybody. But there you go. We can see sort of where we're at standings wise right now. And Andu Gomez checking in. Sleevy G show live on Radio Garden State at 11 a.m. this morning. How many more games do we need to deal with Jones? I mean, I'll go first, Pablo, if you don't mind. I mean, I personally think that if he wins today, he's going to get 4 games total. I think that's my assessment. If he chokes today and has another game, I don't even think he's going to make it through the game. I think they're going to bench him. I can't see the Giants sticking with him throughout a whole game if he is playing like he did last week. If he does win, I think the Giants are going to stick with him until 4 games and see, kind of evaluate it from there. That's my personal perspective. Pablo, what do you say?
I think the Giants have invested a ton in him, clearly, right? So after a season where he had a significant injury, I'm sure they're going to give him time. Game one after such a long inactivity period wasn't going to be his best, and it was quite terrible. They lost the game. They have a good bounce back game today. They're playing against a team that is a favorable matchup for quarterbacks. So I think today is not going to be his most terrible game of the season. I actually think he's going to come out and look decent today. But how
Yeah,
many play is TBD. I'm not too sure. I'm
yeah,
not too high on Jones, but at the same time, I do want to see the kid succeed and take the Giants as high as he can. But we'll
yeah.
see.
It would be nice not to have a wasted season. I'll tell you that. So, and Josh Parr is
Sure
saying if
would
he,
be.
if he can't beat the Skins today, he should be benched, or the Commanders, that he should be benched. So I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, we
Yeah.
usually play this team hard, and we've been winning. So, but hey, it's a whole new season, whole new ball game, as they say.
That's right.
All right, so let's just rip down the standings really quick, and then we'll move into our picks for this. But so looking at it right now, the champ is sitting in first place.
That's right. Got a
We
big
got
win, put up a lot of points.
yep. Look at his points. Very very nice point size. We got Keith's cool team at number 2, not JT's team, your team, my friend, sitting in a number 3 spot with some nice points.
Not too
Getting
bad.
them points, and you and I once again are we're not too much separating us in the standings right here. I'm sitting in 4th with Yoda best team, and Los Chupacabras sitting in 5, sitting in number 5 right now. And let's just listen, the Manja Magic, always got to keep an eye on Manja Magic, sitting at 8 at the moment and sitting in last place, unfortunately, right now. It's only once again only week 1, but it's Tina's team, suck my dick. So. I mean, listen, week 1, right? You can't judge an entire season off of week 1 in fantasy sports for sure. I mean, in the NFL, for that matter, but
It's just week 1.
it's just week 1. So for everybody that is already feeling frustrated, don't. It's week 1. This is your time to rebound. Everybody in this league, watch your waiver wires. No trades yet, as far as I know. Have there been any trades yet in our league?
I do not believe so. Nothing on the radar at the moment.
No trades
No.
yet. And for anybody, I don't know who who in this league has CMC, but hopefully they got a good backup.
That would be I was actually going to bring that up. That would be Keith's cool team.
Okay.
Keith's cool team was very, very proactive and rostered CMC's backup before week 1. So
Okay.
he already had the backup ready to go
It's
the
good.
minute that CMC was declared inactive, and now that's the starting running back for the San Francisco 49ers for the foreseeable future. That's Jordan Mason.
Hmm.
And I was mentioning it earlier, week 1 waivers usually brings out those unexpected, solid season-long
Right.
players. I think this is it. I think Jordan Mason is our Puka Nakua from last season.
That's a good call. I mean, very well could be, man. The big sleeper hit, right? Every year there seems to be a sleeper breakout star. He could be it. I mean, it's one game, but he looked impressive. He looked very
Sure
impressive
did.
against supposedly a number 2 ranked defense.
Yeah.
I mean, supposedly. I mean, definitely going into the season based on last season. Yeah. I mean, so, Jets have a lot to figure out there. Was that a fluke game? Just once again, rust. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, Mason will have an opportunity as well because
Yeah.
now that CMC has been put on IR, that gives him another 4 weeks on top of his week 1 performance. So that's, he's creeping up on half a season. Even after CMC gets back,
Yeah.
he'll be part of the game. He'll be on the field.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they'll mix him up into the game plan for sure. After seeing what
Absolutely.
talent he brings, you can't let that guy be sitting on the side.
No, yeah,
So-
it's great for them.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move into it, Pablo. Let's get in. So since we are looking at the standings for that league, let's dive into the matchups.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so this week, I guess we'll work our way from the top all the way to the bottom, or should we work from? You know what? Let's switch it up this week, bud. Let's
Okay.
start from the bottom and work our way up. How's
All right.
that? We're gonna get
Yeah.
crazy. We're gonna get crazy. So we're gonna start with two teams currently sitting both in respective spots here. We have Suck My Dicka sitting in currently last place in the league, 12th, versus number 2, Keith's Cool Team. Once again, this is week 1, guys. Week 1. It's just how it's shaking out by points. But let's look at the matchup here. Tina, starting QB, is Daniels from Washington versus Stroud, Mr. CJ Stroud from Houston.
Good matchup.
Yeah, you think so? I mean, I think that I think this is a pretty good matchup. This is like a sneakily good matchup.
It is. It is. I actually really like Tina's team. She's got the Commanders quarterback and the Commanders
Yeah, she's got a nice
main
stream
wide
going
receiver.
here. Yep.
So you know what? We were talking about it earlier against the Giants today. I
Yeah.
think regardless of what the outcome of the real NFL score will be, I think Daniels is going to have a really, really good game today.
I concur. I think he is going to have a good game today. I mean, I don't think the Giants defense is going to be is going to be disruptive enough. I mean, obviously we probably will maybe get a sack or two on him, but I think he will have a good game. I mean, especially too, our secondary is still not great. There's definitely some weak holes, and a guy like McLaurin's got some good legs, and he's fast, so could definitely see some breakouts happening there. I do like the Pickens, and it seems like oh my god, I'm blanking out. The backup in Chicago in Pittsburgh. Oh my, I'm completely blanking out at the moment.
At wide receiver?
No, at quarterback. He's getting a start again today.
Oh, this is Justin Fields.
Yes, thank you. I'm like sitting there. I'm like, I can't. I'm like blanking out on names. Yeah, Justin Fields is getting the start again today, as that calf injury for Russell Wilson is still lingering. So, I like that matchup too. And Waddle didn't have an awesome game. He had a good game, but not an awesome game on Monday night. So that leaves a lot of room here. I also too, real quick, just look at the tight end lineup. I like this tight end lineup too. Sam Laporta had a great season last year with the Lions versus Kyle Pitts from Atlanta. Also, not a bad player. So this could be really good. I like this matchup here. There's good potential for some decent points.
I think so as well. I think Keith's team is really strong. He's got a couple of running backs there in Mason and Charbonnet that are not used to being the lead backs, but this week they will be. Kenneth Walker on the Seahawks has been ruled out. So Charbonnet is going to step in there and have a lot of carries, have a lot of activity. Tina's team, solid. She's starting Joe Mixon and Derrick Henry. Mixon had a huge game in week 1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They gave him the rock a lot. And he looked good too. So I think he's in for a really, really solid season. And we'll have to watch this one out. But projections this far, we got 8.5 points on the board already. It's a close projection. It's looking like 150 to 141.
Yep.
I think.
Close.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Anything can happen. I think if I had to pick a team here, I'm going to pick Ditka's team for the win.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that one. I think Ditka's team, I feel like, has a sneaky edge here. So I think that's where I'm going to side with as well, looking at the standing, looking at the lineup here. So I think you and I, we're in agreement. We'll pick, in this matchup, Suck My Dicka versus Keith's Cool Team. Both of us for Suck My Dicka, Tina's team.
Very good.
All right. All righty, everybody. Let's keep it moving here. Let's look at a second to last matchup in our league, or a second matchup, because we're working our way bottom to top this time. We have Shardy McDennis versus Not JT's team. Look at this projection, bud. Wow.
That's pretty close.
That is a close projection.
Yep, I like it. I definitely like it.
Good matchup here. Both you rocking some QBs here that could do some serious damage. I mean, Kyle Murray getting a start here today, and then you're rolling with Jalen Hurts on Monday night versus Atlanta.
At home. Yep, I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, that has the potential to put up some decent points. And then I like your little stream here with AJ Brown, who is listed as questionable right now, but it doesn't doesn't seem like anything. He popped up on the injury report. It's saying on Friday. So, but it doesn't sound like that he. I guess it doesn't sound like he's not going to get the start, but I guess something to watch there in the just to
I'll,
make sure, right?
I'll certainly be keeping an eye on it. Yep, and I
Especially with
need
it
to
being a
find.
Monday night.
Yeah, for sure. I need to find
Yeah.
myself a pivot option in case the
Yeah.
worst scenario comes out.
But I
But
mean, really. Oh, go ahead. I don't want to step on you there.
no problem. Across from AJ Brown, he's starting Debo.
Mm-hmm.
Debo had a monster week one, and in
Yeah.
the absence of Christian McCaffrey, he was featured. Debo Samuel had a huge game. McCaffrey will be out several weeks. I'm fearful of what Debo is going to do to my fantasy matchup here this week.
Right.
I think he's a great player, and he's set up for a great few weeks as well.
Yeah, I mean, looking down your lineups, man, you guys are so evenly matched. It's crazy. So this will be a fun one to watch throughout the day to see if anybody gets the edge or if this stays razor thin the entire way down. But looking at the lineups, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna go with your team, my friend. I like. It's tough. You guys both have some great players. I think you might have a slight edge here when it comes to looking at Stafford. I think may give you a little bit of an edge, and I also like Pachenko here, and of course the
Okay.
stream. So I think those things could be. I do think it's going to come down to the wire though, but I'm gonna side with JT's team.
All right, very good. I'll pick the same, but I definitely think it's a coin toss here. It's a super close one. My team lost Puka. That was my keeper,
Yeah,
uh, as well as Keith losing CMC. That's a terrible thing to
yeah, big
happen when your
losses.
keeper goes on IR immediately. That's not good. But there's plenty of season ahead. We can recover, and I think I'll choose myself in this one.
All righty, my friend. There you go. Got the picks. Two of us for not JT's team. All right. Next up, it takes two at a tango versus Dumbmanders. 7-9 teams playing each other. And once again, I mean, if you look at the original projection here, I mean, it was almost a dead heat versus it takes two at a tango, putting up some points from the game Thursday night, coming out of the gate with almost 47, well, close to 48 points. What a night A-Chain had.
He sure did.
Especially for a
He-
guy that might not have played. And we all went and picked up on the waiver wire, all the backups there.
yeah.
And not only did he play, he tore it up, man. He was just shy 100 yards.
No, he was solid. He had a great game. He was the only Dolphin really to come through. Tua Tango also had Tyreek Hill and
Yep.
Tua on his team. They both played. They both were not on point. Tua had the really unfortunate concussion.
Yeah.
Had to leave the game. Concussion once again. Very, very concerning for the
Yep.
kid's health in general, but also for his career now.
Yeah, I mean,
So
this is
not good
he's
stuff.
had a very bad concussions, and yeah, it's not good, not good for an athlete to get that many concussions in a row. And so yeah, hopefully he just guy gets better. That's the number one thing. As far as fantasy perspective goes, I mean, you gotta find someone here. I mean, unless let's see who they have on the bench for just because we have a super flex league. Deshaun Watson is the other quarterback on Tua's bench.
Yeah.
And, he didn't have a great game last week, but it was one game, so we'll see.
Watson hasn't really been looking good in quite a bit, even beyond this game. Like last
It's been
season
a
was
while.
terrible.
It's been a while. Yeah.
It has been, and he was inactive prior to that. So it's been a minute since we've seen Watson light it
Yep.
up. I remember when he first came into the league, it was awesome to watch.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, he was going in first round draft. He was a first round draft pick in fantasy for those couple of years.
Yeah, and this is quite different. I don't know for sure that we'll see that again. I mean, at this point, you have to question whether he's still got it.
Yeah.
He doesn't look solid at all. What I'm taking a quick browse at what other quarterbacks are available in this league, and I don't see a ton. So,
No, which means there may have to be a trade happening potentially for somebody else. You may have somebody that's willing to give up for something else. So, Um, I think I personally predict that in the league. I think after this week we're going to see some trade action.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Yeah, absolutely. If we're not trading, if we're not trying, then that's on us. We got to make those trades happen. Always look to improve your team.
Yeah,
Find ways to find ways to improve both teams. Like find
yeah,
a team that has a need in an area where you have maybe two or three options and you
hmm
can afford to part with one of them.
right.
So absolutely, no,
Yeah,
trades are super important.
yep, absolutely. 100. I agree 100% with that perspective. So make those trades happen, guys, in our league. After this week, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of eyeballs going on and some offers being made. Just a real quick look at the other side of Dumbmanders. I like this lineup. I mean, Purdy, Jefferson, Olave, Godwin, Taylor, Kamara, even, has got some juice in the tank, it seems. Kittle, Trevor Lawrence in a super flex spot. I like this, even though he didn't have a great game. Um, Once again, Rust, we'll see what happens because he's got great weapons on that team. So I know this is razor thin, but I'm gonna side with Dumbmanders on this one. I'm gonna take the Dumbmanders.
That's yeah, that's I was thinking about doing the same, but then I look back at the scoreboard and it's a 47
Yeah.
0.85 to 0 lead at the moment. It's not the easiest pick to make on to choose the Demanders, but I think I'm going to do the same. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
I think that's a solid pick. I think Jonathan Taylor on his team is going to rock today.
Yeah. It's
They're
a
playing in
juicy
Green Bay,
matchup. Green
but
Bay.
with a backup quarterback in Malik
hmm
Willis.
Yep.
I think that Jonathan they're gonna probably take the lead and then just salt the game with Taylor there, and he's going to get a
Yep.
lot of carries, a couple of touchdowns, maybe.
Agreed. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. All right. Moving on to our other matchup in this league. We got CD's Nuts, sixth place team, versus Los Chupacabras in fifth place. CD's Nuts with a win, and then both teams coming in with a win, actually. And right away, we're looking at the matchup, and we got Derek Carr versus Patty Mahomes. And
That is interesting.
you got Derek Carr facing Dallas, who's never easy, right? And
No,
Derek Carr, guy still has a rocket for an arm, but not always. I mean, he actually had a pretty decent game, I think, last week, but still, versus Patrick Mahomes in the Cincinnati, the potential is there for Mahomes to have a really good day. But I do like the Garrett Wilson matchup actually, because I got a feeling that it's going to be interesting to see how Aaron Rodgers plays today, because I feel like once again shaking the rust off, not having played for a full season.
yeah,
I did like some of the looks, even though they got beat. I did like what I was seeing from them offensively, so I got a feeling that the chemistry might start clicking.
yeah. I think we can pretty much just toss out week one for
hmm
Rodgers, and maybe today is really where
Yeah.
we're going to see what he's really got. There was a tough matchup that he was up against out there in San Fran, and it didn't go well at all from the start. So this is maybe the game where we find out what's there.
Yeah. And I also, one more point here is the one thing, and I'm just going to make my pick now while I'm talking, is that I'm going to pick Los Chupacabras solely for the fact that they got Patrick Mahomes as a starter, and in their flex, they have Lamar Jackson, and they're playing Vegas. And obviously, the huge point potential right there. And that is why I do feel like that they're favored at the moment, and why I feel like that they will. It's going to be my pick for this one.
Great pick, great pick. Yeah, I want to say in our league, the
hmm
strongest quarterback duo of the league, right there with Mahomes and Lamar.
Yeah.
He's also got Worthy and Andrews
Yeah.
receiving the ball from Mahomes and Lamar. So he's definitely constructed his team very, very well. On the other end, I agree with you. Carr had a great week last week, but he was playing Carolina, who's terrible. It's not going to be the case this week. I don't think they'll repeat what they did last week. So my pick here, it will be Los Chupacabras as well.
All right. Look at you and I, man, in agreement here on quite a few picks already today.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. Moving up along. Two more matchups left. So in this league. So we got Mighty Morphin Bauer Rangers versus the name is Dalton. Number 1 versus number 10 in the league
Okay.
currently after week 1. Name is Dalton. Ken's team jumping on the board with 17 points, 17.9, almost 18. Mr. Dalton Kincaid getting him some points there. And Buffalo wide receiver Shakir, the 10 points. But Mighty Morphin Power Rangers coming in as the projected favorite and winner of this one. Looking at his lineup, we got a Will Levis and a Anthony Richardson matchup here in the QB1 spots. What do you see,
Yeah,
Pablo?
I mentioned earlier Walker was ruled out. He doesn't seem to be ruled out on Yahoo yet.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear that clearly when I thought I heard that he had been ruled out. Maybe he's not yet ruled out, still doubtful.
Yeah,
But
still ruled as
he's in
doubtful.
Dalton's okay, and he's still in Dalton's starting lineup. So that is affecting his projection because he's only projected to get a point since he's likely not even going to play the game.
Yeah.
So once that gets adjusted, let's take a quick look at the bench here. We've got Zamir White. We've got Gus Edwards. We've got some options there for Ken Walker to come out. And once that gets adjusted, I'm sure the projection will balance out a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Mighty Morphin's team is strong, projected high. I think the weak link on this team is Bo Nix, the rookie quarterback out of Denver, who had a okay first game, but maybe we'll see something better this week.
Yeah, maybe we'll see something different in week 2.
Yeah, for sure. Assuming that running back situation gets fixed on Dalton's team, I still think I'm gonna make the Mighty Morphin my pick for this one.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm really rooting for the name is Dalton because listen, Kevin's a champ and everybody's gunning for him, so you always want to see the champ get taken down a notch. But considering it was his birthday week and he did just get engaged,
congrats.
I'm gonna say he's gonna ride the birthday and engagement magic into a win this week as well. So I'm also going to be on your Mighty Morphin Power Rangers side as well for a defeat over the name is Dalton. Riding that birthday magic.
Probably. That's what I think as well.
All right. In our last matchup for this league, we have my team, Yoda Best Team, versus Manja Magic. Magic. So I'm currently sitting at 4th, and Manja Magic is currently sitting at 8th. I will say, Pablo, I had a good feeling because, listen, we all know what can happen. But I did have a good feeling drafting Baker Mayfield based on last year's performance. And game 1 did not disappoint because, boy, oh boy, did Baker go off. Now, I know that's not going to be every week. They're going into Detroit. Not easy at all. So I have no expectations, but it paid off last week, and I was able to get a win in both leagues to at least start off week 1 with a win here. But Manja Magic looking at the other side, Josh Allen, even though Buffalo won the game, Josh Allen not a ton of points, as much as you would think with as much as they won the game by, because Mr. James Cook did a lot of running.
Yeah, that worked out really well for you in this matchup too, because you had Josh Allen and you had Cook. I think them getting out in the lead early just lend itself to an opportunity to just run the ball.
Yeah,
they didn't
absolutely.
need Josh Allen. That was it.
James Cook cooked well, and got me some nice 30 points. So going into this matchup, but once again looking down on both sides, there's definitely some points here. Like, I don't know what Justin Fields is going to do today. and will he, as far as my Superflex go, put up some points because Jared Goff versus, his QB, because of the weapons he has on that team, which we know, which I have one of them, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is my keeper from last year. There's a good point potential here. And I actually feel like that even though it's estimating me by the 161, I actually don't like that because I feel like that this game could be a lot closer than being projected. When I look it down objectively, I feel like that this game could really come down to the wire for me and Manja Magic.
It's possible. It's possible. But I do have to say, looking through the lineups here, your team is solid. It looks really, really strong. You got Chase, who didn't have a good week one. Will
No,
probably have a better opportunity today. It's a tough game in Kansas City, but still, he's a really, really great wide receiver. Neighbors is going to have another good game today. His week one game wasn't spectacular, but it was good.
yeah,
And the secondary in Washington is a target to beat. So I think he'll have another good game today. Ramondre on your team had a solid week one. I think they'll keep feeding him the ball. He's probably their best offensive player on New England's team. And Justin Fields, that's the question mark for me on your team. He didn't have a great week one.
me too.
I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it up in Denver. Maybe he will. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. So my pick, obviously, for this week is my own team. Manja Magic does scare me because she is magic, and by the way, she makes great gluten-free empanadas. Thank you so much for those. I sent her a DM, but I didn't hear back from her. But they were truly amazing. They were a delight to eat. But I know I'm playing you this week, so as opponents, I'm picking myself. But I am scared. I'm not gonna lie. We saw what she's done in other leagues. She's got the magic, man. There's a magic touch with her, and there's something that happens when you play her team. So, but I am picking myself.
Very good, very good. Well, I'm going to pick your team as well, but be careful, like you said, Manja
Yeah,
Magic. I barely got past her week one. It
yeah,
came down to the last play of the last game, and it just happened to be in my favor. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she pulls out a rabbit out of that black and yellow hat and
yep.
gives you a run for your money.
I know. I'm expecting it. I'm expecting it. So, all right, guys. So that wraps up our League of Extraordinarily Mediocre People look for picks, and across the board, Pablo and I might be a first time. We're actually in agreement on all our picks. So just to review, both of us were in the. Let me get my view back up here. Okay, so in Suck My Dicka versus Keith's Cool Team, Pablo and I are both in agreement. We both picked Suck My Dicka, Shardy McDonough versus Not JT's team. Uh, we have both picked Not JT's team. It Takes Two at a Tango versus Dumbmanders. Both of us have chosen Dumbmanders. CD's Nuts versus Los Chupacabras. Pablo and I both picked Los Chupacabras. And Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus the Nameless Dalton. You and I are both on the side of the champ, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And in our last matchup here, Yoda Best Team versus Manja Magic. Once again, we are in agreement. Yoda Best Team is our pick for that lineup.
All right, very good. Six for six.
6 for 6. Look at that. All right. Let's move on to our next matchup in the Dirt Invitation. I forgot I had those little graphics.
It's fantastic.
All right, so let's look at the Dirt Invitational right now. Let's take a quick pop look at the standings. Are you crazy right now in first place? I love that name. With a nice point lead there. Followed by Moose Knuckles at number 2. Number 3, Killer Beers. Number 4, Uruguay. Look at it. You and I, man. Right in the mix with each other. And in the 5th place, we got Bodie McBoat faced with Manja. Just looking in again. Of course, Sneaky Manja right there. And I'll just shoot right down the last place currently, Ginger Ninja, after week 1, by the way. Once again, disclaimer, after week 1.
That's right. That's right. Moose Knuckles reached out to me through the week. He's like, I'm in between a Vaglio sandwich there on the standings.
He is.
So yeah, at second spot, right beneath Kevin and right above your team. But
Yep.
Yeah, great week 1, and I'm excited to see these week 2 matchups here.
Absolutely, 100%. So let's do the same thing. Well, first of all, do we have a game of the week? I always forget. We do have a game of the week in the Dirt Invitational. What is our game of the week?
We do have a game of the week. It hasn't. I don't think it made its way to our Facebook teams page, but the champ. The tradition is that the champ picks those games of the week each week.
Yes.
Has selected your matchup with Moose Knuckles since
Oh.
you and he are in second and third place,
Yes.
and it was a really promising, high-scoring game.
All right. Well, let's take a look into it. So, my team currently sitting in third place, the Killer Beers versus Moose Knuckles sitting in second place. And right now, projections hold that Moose Knuckles will, beat me by about 20 or so points. But where we are point wise right now, we're very close with my 24.5 to his 26.5. So,
Yeah,
as I was talking before, Baker Mayfield was a pick I made because I felt like, based off last year's performance and the receiving core he has, that I feel like he could put up big points. Last week he did. Will he be able to repeat that this week? I don't know. Going into Detroit, never easy. Ever easy. So I don't know. Detroit's defense could be good, could bring the heat. We'll see what happens in Detroit. But, then on the other side, Patty Mahomes versus Cincy, always a good rivalry game
it
with the
is. It
Bengals,
is.
the Bengals and the Chiefs.
Yeah, earlier you were talking about Baker and what a great week one he's had, and if he's going to be able to keep it up or not. He's had Daniel Jones,
Yeah,
Daniel
Daniel
Jones
Dones. Yeah, Daniel
revenge game
Dones.
today. Yeah, well, hopefully, but I'm not sure. But
Yes.
going back to Baker, he
He does stink. He stinks. Not Bake. Well,
Baker
Baker's going through it.
Baker coming in as the successor to Tom Brady in Tampa Bay has been really, really good. He had a really great season last year,
He
and he
did,
came
and it
out
was
week one and did
yeah.
it again.
I mean, it was a
So
contract season for him. He had a 1-year contract with them, and he needed to do it, and he did it. He did it,
he did. I
and he
I
looked
want to
great.
say, even though he's been on other teams, he was on the Browns, of course. He had a small showing there with LA as well. I think this is legit. I'm not. I didn't think Baker was going to be that type of solid season long starting quarterback, but I think he found the spot. This team is good, and he's good on the team.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, right now it seems to be clicking, and from a fantasy perspective, I hope that continues because I think I'm going to need it with Patrick Mahomes. I know, once again, good rivalry game, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be high scoring. It could both be high scoring, especially if they're both passing and slinging the ball like crazy. Could be a shootout between him and Burrows. But I've got my little stream going here of Mayfield and Evans.
Mhm.
Obviously, I've got Jamar Chase, which would be nice if Jamar and Joe Burrow can get a good connection going because that'll help me because obviously Jamar Chase is the number one target there. A-Chain, once again, helped me out in this matchup as well because I have him in both leagues. And that gave me a nice little push there. However, he had Cook on the other side, who also gave him a nice little push. So we kind of canceled each other out there with running backs, kind of with our points there,
Yeah, yeah. I
which I
talked to
thought was
Moose
funny.
Knuckles yesterday about that. He's like, my running back had 3 touchdowns, but then I looked across, and his running back just had the same amount of points.
Yeah, it's
So
funny. Like we just both canceled each other out with our running backs in that way. Um, so when I look back, when I look down all the way, we both have questionable quarterbacks in our flex spots here. Justin Fields versus a Gardner Minshew, who you gotta love Uncle Rico and the power of Uncle Rico to be able to maybe pull this one out. They are playing Baltimore, which doesn't make me feel good because we all
yeah,
know
that's
how
a tough
Baltimore
one, man.
plays. Yeah,
That's really, really
yeah.
tough for Minshew to come out strong, but you never know. Maybe he'll surprise all of us.
And the one thing I may make a move on here, just looking at my IDP, is Buckner is still listed as questionable for today's game, having a back. And that's so that's still a Friday. So I'll check that one. I may have to make a little swap before game time at 1. I'm scared with him. He's got likely, but if Ingram and Trevor Lawrence can get the connection they had last year, I think that could be good. So anyway, either way, I think could be a good point, big high scoring game here, potentially on both sides. I mean, I know he's the favorite at the moment, but I'm gonna pick my own team.
There you go. There you go. So all right. So I guess maybe this is the first matchup where we're not going to have the same pick.
This is the break right here.
Yeah, this is it right here. I think I'm gonna go with Moose Knuckles.
All right.
Although it's gonna be close. I think you both have that super flex, which is the weak link on the team. maybe that'll be the deciding factor. Whichever one of those two guys has the bigger game might decide who's the matchup winner here.
All right, there we go. There you have it. My pick is in with picking my own team, Killer Beers, while Pablo is going with Moose Knuckles.
Right.
Into our next matchup, your team sitting in fourth place, Uruguay versus Ginger Ninja. So number 4 versus last place, number 12. Once again, week 1 doesn't really mean much.
No, exactly. Yeah, I was going to lead with that. I'm going to throw out week 1. Like, I don't think that it matters that Ginger Ninja had such a low scoring week. It
doesn't
happens
matter
to all teams. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite terrified of this week's week 2 matchup. That I'm up against, because her team is really, really strong.
It is, but I do like. I'm going to point out one thing where you got some great potential. And I've said it a couple times. You got Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So you got a really good stream there. And especially if this becomes a game where both teams are passing, then listen, we know Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown have a really good chemistry together. So there's a good potential there for some good high points for you. Which I know would hopefully counteract the Jalen Hurts and Debo combo here. Jonathan Taylor, I think, versus Kamara is a little scary. And Josh Jacobs, it's very, they may be running the ball a lot in this game because they don't trust the young quarterback.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So may see a lot of points there. So those are things that could potentially hurt you. But then when you look down, I do like Trevor Lawrence a bit more than Justin Herbert in this one, but they are playing Carolina. So Carolina's been soft.
Yeah, well, it's we'll have to see. I think we were talking about this earlier. New Orleans going into Dallas. Kamara's got a tough game ahead of him. I'm not crazy optimistic. My team already had a couple of players go on Thursday. We were talking about it earlier as well. Tyreek Hill, 4.5 points, not great, not great at all. Kincaid had a normal game, nothing to write home about. One of my linebackers got injured early in the game, didn't have the chance to put up good fantasy points either. So I find myself behind the 8 ball here, projected to lose by 20 or so points. If it wasn't my team, I'd be choosing the Ginger Ninja as the winner here.
Yeah.
However, I'm not going to do that to myself, and I'm going to say that a miracle will happen, and that Uruguay will come out on top.
All right, there you go. My brother's chiming in. Kevin Vagler chiming in. Carolina might be worse than the Giants. Carolina had a terrible D. Yes, 100% agreed.
I could agree with that. Yeah, and you know what? They have a similar situation, not just with the defense, but also with their quarterbacks.
Right.
Not wonderful.
Yeah, not wonderful. So, listen, buddy, we're gonna have to make a break again, but I do know that you can't pick against yourself. But I am going to go in this matchup with Ginger Ninja, because we also know, too, how Ginger Ninja started going on a tear at the end of last season. Like, her team got really scary.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. I know she has it in her, and the team. I mean, look at it. This is a stacked lineup.
It is a stacked lineup. So, all right. Excellent. Very good. Our picks are in for that one. Let's go. All right, next matchup here. We have Manja versus Show Me Your Touchdowns. There we go. I'm like, why isn't this sharing? There it goes. All right. Show Me Your TDs versus Manja Magic. Right now, projection is 150 to 134. We have a number 6 versus number 8. Looking at the top, Dak Prescott versus a Joe Burrow matchup in QB1. Dak against New Orleans. Joe Burrow going into KC. I think Burrow, once again, we were talking about, we've seen some great matchups between Cincy and Kansas City, and a lot of high-scoring games there. So I think that if Burrow can find a lot of Jamar Chase, I think that could put up a lot of points. As much as I can't stand Dak Prescott, I feel like the matchup against New Orleans might be a little too juicy.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. They actually hit. She's got the Dak Prescott CeeDee Lamb combination. They
Yeah,
had a very very light week one.
they
They
did.
put up low scores, both of them. I think that changes for sure this week.
All right. Yeah, and
So
then you look down, you got Olave versus Jerry Judy, ETN versus Vermont Stevenson, Connor versus Moss. I mean, you got a lot, and I like this. I'm interested to see the Malik Neighbors and Chris Godwin matchup, how that plays out throughout the day for sure. And then just to look down at Super Flex, super quick, we got Anthony Richardson versus Aaron Rodgers.
yeah,
So
yeah,
be interesting to see what kind of points get put up there. Uh, Listen, I think in this case, I'm gonna be going with Manja because I saw it happen with my own eyes last year, and I don't. I feel like the same's gonna continue. I feel like Manja is gonna steamroll a little bit and get on a roll. Even this early, I feel like the magic is there. The magic is
I
there.
agree.
So
I
I'm
agree.
going with the Manja magic. Just
Chris
Manja
is
on this
dealing
team.
with Chris is dealing with the loss of Christian McCaffrey. He
Yep.
didn't benefit from being able to get to Jordan Mason in time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really really tough blow
It's a
for
big
the
it's a big
team.
loss because I'm sure that was his first round pick.
Of course, of
Everybody's first
course.
round pick.
So yeah, exactly. So I'll go with Manja Magic on this one as well.
All right, there we go. Manja magic. Victorious, both of us in agreement on that one. All right, getting into our middle matchup here. Primadolus Matador versus Sharkbait. Number 10 versus number 7 as it currently stands right now. Primadolus Matador on the board right now at 22.5 points. Projections are in Sharkbait's favor. Josh Allen was his starting QB. Only got 11 points. Versus, we have Kirk Cousins on the other side in Atlanta. Going into Philly on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm not a fan of that matchup. So I got a feeling that this, I don't think this points are going to be that high on the QB1 spot right now because of that matchup. I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a tough night in Philly.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what we're going to see out of Cousins this season. I know he's traditionally been a great quarterback, but he's older, coming off of this significant injury.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not confident that we're really going to see a great season out of Cousins. They also drafted that QB early in the rookie draft.
Yeah.
Things just didn't lay out well this year so far for Cousins. TBD, I guess, but he's got a very, very difficult matchup there in Philly.
Yeah, absolutely. I just can't see it going as a high point game. I think maybe you'll get like this, like an 11 point, 12 point game. That's my prediction, but good to have AJ Brown on starting in the wide receiver 1 slot. Shakir didn't put up big points. We got Devontae Adams, and then of course we look down. We got some Bijan Robinson, Ezekiel Elliott on the other side. I mean, you look at Xavier Worthy, who had a great game in game 1. We'll see if that continues because that's got a good potential for some high points. Maybe if he has a game that he had last week, and then just going down a super flex spot, Purdy versus Will Levis. I like the Purdy Minnesota matchup more than Levis Jets.
Yeah, same. Yeah, Levis has got a lot of work cut out for him in New York today, New Jersey.
So even though Prima Doles Matador is right now projected to lose, I do feel like Prima is going to be the winner in this one. I feel like they're going to pull it. I feel like on the second, I feel like that super flex spot's going to help. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to buck projections here, and I'm going to go at Prima.
There you go. I wish I had some stats ready. My stats team and I have been working on compiling the historical data of the Dirt League.
Right.
Prima de los Matador mentioned once Sharkbait is his favorite matchup of all time. and it had to do with him tying a couple of times and then losing on a stat correction. I think it was.
Right.
I forget the details of what it is, but more than once he's lost based off of like nothing almost,
Yeah.
and that's left a sour taste. And he always looks forward to these matchups with Dan. Nothing personal, of course, but you always find those rivals that you like to have,
Oh,
and
of
this was one of
course.
them. So I'm gonna go with Sharkbait in this one. I think, unfortunately for Prima, those Matador, that Josh Allen game really put him in a tough
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah, it did.
And
It did. Not coming out of there at big points because once again they wound up going to running, and if you're a James Cook owner like I was, you benefited from that. If you had Josh Allen, you didn't so much. So, but hey, it's at least he put up some points. So we'll see what happens though, because Kirk Cousins may not do the same. So all right, so you and I are split on this one. You are picking Sharkbait in this, and I am picking Prima de los Matador. All righty, moving on. All right, in the next matchup here, our second to last matchup, we have the Sicilians versus Bodie McBoatface. We've got number 11 versus number 5. Right away, this QB matchup looks a little lopsided, my friend.
Yeah.
You got Jaden Daniels versus Lamar Jackson. One playing the New York Giants, and the other playing the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. We were talking about, we think Daniels will probably have a good day since the Giants are playing trash right now, but we'll see because it was only week 1. But I still feel like Lamar's got a potential for doing some damage over in Vegas.
Yeah, no, he certainly does. He definitely does. Vegas is a decent team, but Lamar didn't have the biggest outing in week 1. He played in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Now he gets to play at home. He gets to play a more accessible defense, and I think Lamar will have a bounce back game this week.
Yeah. Now the one thing we were talking about before, and I see it real quick, is that the Sicilians had Tua in their flex spot. And, as we all know, Tua suffered another concussion. So, hopefully the guy can, gets better. But whether or not his career in the NFL, I believe, is in question. That's just me. That's the way I feel. But from a fantasy perspective, definitely hurt her in that flex spot, because he already wasn't having a great night as it was. 3 interceptions, 1 passing TD, and then he got hurt. Now, Matthew Stafford on the other side is playing Arizona. And, Arizona, not a great team, but also can be very pesky. You never know what Arizona is showing up against, these teams. So
I do think Stafford will have a pretty decent game today. He's a good quarterback.
I do too.
He showed it last week against Detroit. And in that matchup, like you said, with the unfortunate night that Tua had Thursday, I think that's an area where Bodie will come out on top.
Yeah.
The Sicilians has Kenneth Walker starting for now in that running back spot, as well as our other team in the other league did. So that's a change that we'll likely see.
Yep.
No other running backs currently on this roster, so we'll have to make a reach there for the free agency and add somebody last minute. But that should change the projection a bit and cut down on the big gap that we currently have of 40 plus points.
Absolutely, for sure. And you may be able to get somebody. I mean, there's still plenty of running backs in the waiver wire, and with people shuffling around, maybe some late drops, potentially get somebody fast. So I will say with the matchup here, the big thing for me, the big points beyond what we look at, wide receiver, tight end, and all that, Lamar Jackson and the Matt Stafford, I feel like could be some big points there, which is why I'm going to go with Bodie McBoatface as my pick in this one. Pablo, how do you feel?
Same. I'm going to go with Bodie on this one.
All right. Both of us are in agreement going with Bodie McBoatface, Bodie McBoatface in the Sicilians matchup. Let's move on. All right. And in our final matchup in this league, the Dirt Invitational, we have BMF versus IU Crazy. So, Kev, Where's Ruben? We look across QB1, CJ Stroud versus Kyle Murray. One playing in Chicago, the other one playing in Los Angeles. How do we feel immediately about that matchup?
CJ Stroud has a really nice matchup against Chicago at home. I think that he will have a really decent game today. On the other end, Kyler's playing at home as well. His first game of the season was okay. He wasn't able to connect with their star rookie wide receiver that they drafted, Marvin Harrison. I think today's the game where we're going to maybe see more out of the rookie, and that'll help Kyler as well. So that's a pretty strong and evenly matched quarterback head-to-head there.
Yeah, I like this. And the one I think will be fun to watch will be Zay Flowers versus Brendan Ayuk. It's going to be interesting to see which way they go. Is there going to be a lot more, on the ground stuff, Lamar, or is he going to be able to connect with Zay Flowers for some big plays? So that'll be fun to watch. I mean, we know Ayuk is going to get the ball, but he had some pretty bad drops this week. So, even Peyton was calling that out on some of that stuff. I think it was him or Debo, but maybe I'm thinking about Debo. Somebody had a really bad drop in the end zone against the Jets on Friday night from San Fran. I can't remember if it was Ayuk or Debo, but either way, it should be fun. I mean, Barkley, we saw Barkley go on a tear last week. Is it a fluke? Can he stay healthy? I guess we're going to see in week 2 if he's going to have a night against Atlanta. I like Breece Hall a lot, especially in this Tennessee matchup. I mean, there's a lot to like on both sides here. The Pacheco versus Montgomery, Laporta versus Goddard. I mean, there are some really cool, fun matchups throughout the day. The one thing I will look at here is you got Deshaun Watson in the Superflex spot versus Cleveland running back.
Yeah, I actually was going to bring that up.
Jerome Ford.
Yeah,
interesting choice. Yeah, interesting choice on that. What do you think, Pablo? Is that a strategy you think will pay off? I mean, we were just talking about Deshaun Watson not being on the mark. He's going to Jacksonville. They're on the road. He's already shaky. Could this be the move of the league?
I like it. I'm going to be honest. I took a quick peek at the rest of his roster and what else is out there in free agency, and I think he's making a smart move here and putting a running back in that super flex spot. And here's why.
Okay.
His other quarterback was Daniel Jones.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to put Daniel Jones in my starting lineup either.
Nope. Can't trust it.
No. And the quarterbacks that are available currently are Malik Willis, who's going to start his first game. He only got to Green Bay a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that's another guy that's why he's still out there in free agency. Yeah, you can't trust that. And then Jacoby Brissett playing at home against Seattle. Seattle's a tough defense. I mean, that would be the other option if we wanted to try to, jam a quarterback into that super flex. I don't blame Kevin. I don't blame him for starting Ford. I think Ford is a really, really decent running back, a great option, even at super flex.
All right. Yeah, I like it too, because, and especially, I just don't think Deshaun's, I don't think he just does not look like he's got it. It could be low points. I mean, it depends. Let's see how Jacksonville shows up defense wise, but I do like that play as well. So right now, how it's projected, not a runaway game and projection wise. BMF only on the board with 7 points right now. So I think looking at all this, I feel like Kevin, maybe he won't stay in first place, but I do feel like he's going to win this matchup. And he's also riding on, once again, birthday magic, just getting engaged magic. So I feel like all that will propel him into a win on this one.
All right, good. Well, I'm going to side with Ruben. I'm going to go with BMF here. I say Barkley goes on a tear on Monday night and makes a big difference.
In prime time, under the lights.
But yes, absolutely. He wants it bad, after having to switch teams. Yeah. This is exactly what he's looking for, the opportunity to show himself. And I think he looked great in week 1. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see more of the same from Barkley.
All right. So there you have it. Our pick in this matchup is I am going with IU Crazy, and Pablo is going with BMF. And so we're going to review now from the bottom up. Sicilians versus Bodie McBoatface. We are both chosen Bodie McBoatface to be victorious in that one. Prima de los Matador versus Sharkbait. I am siding with Prima de los Matador, while Pablo is going with Sharkbait. In Manja versus Show Me Your TDs, we have both chosen Manja for that Manja magic to just continue on. And Uruguay versus Ginger Ninja, I did pick Ginger Ninja in that matchup. And of course, Pablo went with his pick, as he should have. Wise, don't pick against yourself. And in Killer Beers versus Moose Knuckles, I, of course, have chosen my team, while Pablo has chosen Moose Knuckles. So there we have it. That is this week's picks for the Dirt Invitational. And that wraps it up for us, guys. Thank you guys all so much for watching today. Really appreciate hanging out with us on Sunday mornings. We're going to, as Pablo and I have been trying, we're going to try to do this every Sunday morning as we can. And come on, do this for our league and for anybody else that is just interested in hearing two guys talk about fantasy football and fantasy picks. Pablo, any final words today before we call it a day?
Everybody have a great day. Have a great Sunday. Good luck to all your fantasy football dreams. And let's enjoy some football.
Yeah, let's do it. And guys, in our league, let's go. Trade them up. I'm open to offers. Just saying.
Absolutely. I was looking at my team as we went through the lineups, and I saw an area that I don't want to give it away yet, but I'm going to be searching for a good trade partner because I see some areas that I need improvement on.
All right, there you go. Looking for trade partners, guys. So
absolutely.
Get the offers ready to go. All right, everybody have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your day. Have some fun. And watch your bench. Watch your team. And make sure game time, any of those doubtfuls, questionables, whatever, keep an eye on them because you may have to be making a last-second decision. All right. Till next week. See you guys. Signing off.
Peace,
Touchdown
everybody.
Talk. Cheers.